Hello, 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 and welcome to my live in our Prayer Warriors with Prayer Warriors for Jayla. Excuse me, I was looking at our banner and it says Fighting with Jayla. So kind of confused my own self, which is kind of an oxymoron because how can the mother of the eternal star ever be confused at what we were fighting for? So welcome on this December 17th day, which is 13 days away from our beloved's 13th birthday. And so we are very excited to kind of celebrate her upcoming birthday because the 13th year is a very big year. And as a mother of a child who's in heaven, we have mixed feelings about that because we get to hear everybody else celebrate their child who is still here on earth. And we're like, well, what about us? And it's not just with that, it's with all of the holidays, with all of the milestones, with everything, that you can imagine that our Jayla's friends continue to experience that we no longer get to experience that with her. And so I'm choosing to continue to allow her light to shine because it helps me to be able to continue to live this new normal and not just live it, but to actually to not just survive it, but to actually thrive through it. And so, hey Risha, thank you for joining and checking in with me as I go live, and I really appreciate that. And Rosalind, thank you. But the banner, it's funny how God orchestrates things because He is the author of our life after all, right? Every chapter He has already written, from the beginning to the end, from the contents to the index. He has written it all. And so it's funny how as we live out our story, it's funny to see how it unfolds. And if you are in tune with the God that lives in you, you become in awe of not only His glory, but also the power that He has also given in us. And so, excuse me, I dropped some pictures. But so when we first found out about the fight with Jayla, some friends came up with a banner and said, let's get a banner. And I remember a friend was trying to figure out, ask me, well, what scripture do I want on the banner? And so we came up with a scripture from Genesis, the beginning, right? And again, funny, how that happens. But Genesis chapter 8, verse 6, it says, now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do. And so when you think of that, because at the time we were declaring healing, declaring victory over Jayla, that she would live and not die. And though she is still living, we were declaring living here on earth versus living in heaven or in the spirit world. But so for her 13th birthday, maybe you had heard, but I had decided to form this organization called Jayla and Friends. And it's an organization designed to help preemies as well as families touched by a pediatric brain tumor. Because most of you may know our story from when we were dealing with the fight with Jayla. But her story actually started way back before she even graced the planet Earth. It started way back in my womb, back in 2007, when her life was first threatened at 14 weeks. And so it's funny to see how her journey started and how her journey ended on earth, and how her journey continues to flourish even in heaven. And so for that scripture on the banner, Fighting with Jayla, which is in our group, Prayer Warriors for Jayla. Now, nothing would be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do. It's, again, knowing that God is the author of our story and how our stories are intertwined and how we are all connected is just amazing to watch that unfold. And so, like I stated, you know, in 13 days, we will be celebrating her 13th birthday. And I wanted to be able to officially announce the official opening, for lack of a better word, of Jayla and Friends. But because of COVID, we aren't able to do that just yet. And so, because I believe that it needs to be in a situation where we can come together as people and touch one another and just feel the love with one another. And right now, because of COVID, we can't do that. And so I'm postponing the official launch of that until next year for her 14th birthday. But I still wanted to do something special. And so I was able to partner with the March of Dimes to be able to utilize my beauty counter business to raise $1,300 to be able to give the NICU babies safer products for their skin. Because again, Jayla was the catalyst of making our lives better. Yes, I was living, you know, a pretty good healthy life because of my parents. But Jayla took it to a whole nother level with her being born at 13 weeks premature, born at 27 weeks gestation. And so she introduced us to organic foods, USDA certified, you know, and she also introduced us to cleaner, safer products. Her living helped us to realize that we were being exposed to harmful chemicals. And so even though I'm not able to officially launch Jayla and Friends, I am still able to do something big and special in honor of her birthday. And I do have something else also that I will be announcing on her birthday. And it's a gift to myself. One of my sister-in-laws, I'm sorry, I keep bending over, I keep dropping pictures. One of my sister-in-laws, when Jayla was born, she put something in my ear. And at that particular time, I didn't know what to do with it because I was worried about my preemie baby surviving and living. And so I did the best that I knew how to do and what was easy for me. And so now 13 years later, I'm in a position to take that seed that she planted in me, which it was a seed from God, to be able to help carry out my purpose in helping to serve others and helping them to live better and to be better. Because again, our stories are interconnected. Our stories we are connected as people. And I truly believe that what we go through is not just for us to keep to ourselves. We are used as a testimony. We are used as a blessing to help somebody else either walk their path better, either avoid them from having to walk the path we have walked, or to be able to help them to navigate the path that they're walking, which is very similar to ours, but to avoid the pitfalls and the trials and tribulations that we endured on our walk. And so I'm very excited to be able to be in a position to do something for myself, because as mothers and wives, we are constantly giving to others. And we do it with a cheerful heart on most days. But that's what we as women have been called to do. And so it's good to be in a place where you can do something for yourself that is also serving others as well. So you're still walking in alignment with why God created you, but you're also walking in your purpose, which is truly why he created you. So I just wanted to share some pictures with you. This is our Jayla. I don't know how old she was here in this picture. But this was back in the NICU. Preemies, they need kangaroo care, and that helps them to thrive. Because it helps them to regulate their temperatures, and it's so funny. They saying until you walk in someone else's shoes, you never really truly understand. We can sympathize with people all day long. We can feel bad for them. We can pray for them. We can hope for them. But until you literally walk in their shoes, because you too have experienced what they have gone through, you never truly understand. And my world has been made so much bigger because of my journey with Jayla. And because of that, that is why I wanted to form Jayla and Friends. Because as a mom who is on bed rest, not knowing whether or not my baby is going to live or die, as a mom who has given birth to a preemie who was born at 27 weeks, not knowing what to expect, because the doctors don't even know what to expect, because it's all new. The only thing they can do, the doctor told us, we would do our part as the doctors. We need y'all to do y'all part as the parents. Jayla would do her part as the child. And ultimately, it's up to God. When you hear those words, you're like, really? Really? And so I have come to know how powerful God is through not only that experience, but also with the fight with Jayla with the pediatric brain tumor. And once you recognize how powerful he is, then you become aware of how powerful you are. Because if he is that powerful and he lives in you, we know the stories. We know what Jesus did when he walked the earth. We too can do that. But we have to have that mindset, and we have to have the belief that we can do that. So again, I go back to that scripture that's in our prayer warriors for Jayla. Genesis chapter 11, verse 6. Now, nothing will be restrained from them for which they have imagined to do. Again, we imagined that Jayla was going to live and not die. We experienced that on January 20th, 2015, where death came and visited us. I saw it in her face just as clear as I saw it in my grandmother's face. And we had a choice to make. And we chose to fight. And she survived. Just as if we would have chose to usher her out, she would have gone ahead and gone. And it's like the simple words of the little engine that could. We teach it to our children all day, every day when they're young. You can do whatever you believe you can do. Whatever you set your mind to, you can do it. But how come as adults, when we need that most, when it comes to a sickness, when it comes to a diagnosis, when it comes to a job that someone said, you're not good enough, maybe in a couple of years, when it comes to a business that you have a vision of creating and people saying, oh, no, that's absurd, you can't do that. Why do we take their words and make them ours? We can't do that. And again, my journey with Jayla as a preemie, as a child fighting a childhood cancer, she has taught me so much, and she continues to teach me. And so I'm just excited to be able to continue to share her spirit with you, because her spirit lives. Just as our spirit will continue to live when we transition, just as our families who have transitioned due to COVID, their spirits continue to live. The God in you never dies. Never dies. Changes, transitions, leaves earth, goes to another realm. I don't know what the realm is. We call it heaven. we tend to look up, saying heaven, but it could be right here all around us. But the point is, our story doesn't end. It only transcends. And I just want to encourage you all that no matter what life throws at you, take those lemonades and you make the best tasting lemonade you can make. And you keep making it, and you keep making it, and you keep making it. Because no one can tell you when your story is done here on earth but God. They can tell you what they think. They can tell you, well, this is what it's looking like, but they don't know. Miracles are still being done, still being seen, still being experienced. My line sister, her daughter, which I'm going to bring her on and do an interview with her. Well, I have to ask her mom first. But anyway, I have a series that I'll be doing coming up in January about overcoming. And just because my Jayla story did not end how we expected it to end, does not mean your story will end that way. And it's funny, again, God is the author. And I believe Jayla knew from the moment she was thought up in my womb, to the moment she took her last breath here on earth. I think she knew because at some point Jayla stopped talking verbally. And a few days before that, she kept saying, I love you, Mommy. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Dad. I love you, Mimi. She kept saying that. So much so I'm like, okay, Jayla, we get it. You love everybody. Thank you. And a few days later, we couldn't hear it anymore. Gone. Never to be heard again. So we may not understand why things happen the way they do. And we may continue to process it and ask why and do this and do that. But when you know who you belong to, when you know whose you are, you know no matter what comes against you, it cannot break you unless you allow it to. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. We are forever victors and will forever will be victorious. And that goes for you too. So you keep pushing, you keep fighting, you keep believing, you keep hoping, you keep pressing on, because God has placed a purpose in you. God has placed a story in you. God has placed something in you that you have to do. Because as long as you still have breath in your body, and you listening to these words, and you see me live and in color, and it's not fuzzy because you're looking through your spirit eyes, then you still got purpose here on earth. So continue to push through, continue to push forward, and all of that, and just to give you more ways of how we are connected, how our story is already authored. The doctor who delivered Jayla as a preemie is also the doctor who delivered our Flower. Flower who was not supposed to be here. Flower who was up in heaven, and she told Dale a few days ago, you know, brother, I really didn't like the fact that you came and disturbed my soccer game with my heaven friends and had me come down to earth. I was like, did I just hear that right? She said, I was up there playing soccer in heaven with my friends, and then you called me to come down here. You could at least waited till the game was over. Okay. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm just saying. We hear stories about her experience in heaven and what she's been doing, what she was doing in heaven and all of that, right? The only reason why she was here, the only reason why she is even here is because Jayla isn't. Did you hear me? The only reason why Flower is here is because Jayla isn't. Dale asked, how come we only had 2 kids? He said he needed another sibling here on earth since Jayla was up in heaven. And immediately, like a reflex, like somebody hit me and I'm hitting them back. Don't do that though. I'm like, haven't I been through enough? I've been on bed rest since at 14 weeks. Then complete bed rest 18 weeks. Went in the hospital at 23 weeks. Got an infection. Had to have a baby at 27 weeks. Preemie baby. All of that. Child born with food allergies. Haven't I been through enough? Why do I need to have another baby? But immediately, because that's the mama bear, I said, can I give him another? Because I felt bad. You know, I've never experienced a loss of a sibling, but I have now, last year. But prior to that, I never experienced that. So I couldn't relate to what he was going through. But I couldn't imagine. His world was shattered. That was his best friend. His, you know, because I was mommy care and homeschooler, they were together 24/7, not separated at all, you know. So I talked to the husband and he said, yeah, we prayed about it and we said, okay, let's try. I got pregnant on the first try. Really? And then a girl. We didn't find out. We didn't want to know. But the moment we told D2 that, hey, we're pregnant, homeboy said, oh, it's a girl. And guess what? Me and Jayla gonna name her Sky. We already got the name. Really? Again, the story is already written. We're just playing it out. We're just playing it out. So I say all of this, again, to encourage you that no matter what you are facing, no matter what you are going through, it cannot break you unless you allow it to. And it's bigger. It's bigger than what you see before your eyes. Much bigger. Case in point, after Jayla transition, I had a run-in with Skya. Well, anyway, that's a story for a whole nother day. And y'all know me, I can talk and preach and we'll be here for forever. But anyway, I dealt with a situation with Flower's health. And one where I had to call on Jayla. And I had to call on the power that was within me. And we had to lay hands on Skya and pray whatever was going on with her out of her. And the next day, she was fine. Because she was fine before we went to bed. Fine, nothing was wrong. And then in the middle of the night, everything was wrong. And I'm like, okay, no. Devil, you are a lie. And sometimes you got to be that direct. You got to be that righteous to say, no, not on my watch. It's not happening. Because you got to know without a shadow of a doubt the power you possess inside of you. And that same power, God gives us dominion and authority over our spouses, over our children. And just like if a burglar was about to come up in your house and cause harm to you and your family, or take your belongings that you worked hard for, or whatever, you would do whatever you got to do to keep that burglar out. It's the same thing. We can't believe in good and not believe in evil. You can't. We can't tell our children, be like the little engine that could, and when it's time for us to think that we can, we don't. No. Just like you take arms up against that real life, live and in living color flesh person, you got to take up arms against the evilness that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry. But anyway, okay. So, 13 days, we celebrating Jayla's 13th birthday. And tonight I am headed over to a business partner's house so that we can put together our pouch for purposes for the NICU baby. So I'm excited. Again, story is connected because that wasn't supposed to happen on this day, on the 17th. And so it's just funny how everything is working for the good of those who serve the Lord. But I just want to encourage you, because 2020 has definitely been a trying, stressful, unthinkable time, and unimaginable time as well. But even though it's been bad for some, it's been good for others. And we can't lose focus of the goodness. We can't be so consumed with the bad that we miss the glory in things. And so I encourage you to always try to find that sparkle or that rainbow or that silver lining in whatever dark cloud that you feel you are experiencing. Because the darkness is only a mindset. If we shift our mindset and look at it for what it is, this is our story. This is a part of our story. But our story doesn't end like this. This is one chapter. This is one paragraph. Something good is coming. So if we keep that in mind, and if we realize that life will throw us lemons, and if we know that, and if we accept that, then when the lemons come, you already got the picture, you already got the organic sugar or organic honey and your alkaline water so that you can make your fantastic tasting lemonade. So I encourage you to keep living. I encourage you to keep believing, which is the most important thing. What we were taught is not a lie. It's not a lie. It is the truth. God is real. We have power. Spirits do exist. Our loved ones still live. And if you know that, then that will allow you to not only survive the unimaginable, the unthinkable, but it will help you to thrive through it. So thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned, because I will be announcing definitely on Jayla's birthday my gift to myself, inspired by her, but sown from a seed from one of my sister-in-laws. And so keep your ears attentive to what you're hearing, because people are dropping seeds all around you every day. And so don't be so caught up in turning the pages of the story that you miss the topic, or you miss the message, or you miss the focus. Okay? All right. So I'll go out with this little picture here. This is a picture of my little Jayla when she was in the NICU. This was, I believe, when we had graduated, almost heading home. And so, as you can see, this is a picture behind us when she was home. So, you never know how your life is going to unfold, but what we do know is that as long as we have God at the head, the center, all around our lives, that we are forever safe. I love you. And until next time, please keep the dialogue going. And please continue to live your purpose.